the whole tariffs things, it's difficult to avoid talking about it, even though there are so many other things going on in the world. And so I guess with a little bit of levity and humor, here are some MAGA right-wing extremists defending tariffs. Watch this clip and we'll discuss.
In terms of tariffs, I think it's interesting to note that the average U.S. MFN tariff on Chinese goods coming into the United States is 2%, whereas the average Chinese MFN tariff on U.S. goods going into China is 35%. Is that reciprocal?
Further, what they have said is that we need to not worry about manufacturing in America, because what we should establish is a policy of unfettered free trade. We don't need tariffs. What we need is to allow corporate America the freedom to throw American workers out on the street, people who are making 15, 20, 25 bucks an hour, healthcare, pensions, throw them out on the street, because somehow, Madam President, we are going to create wealth in America and good paying jobs in America as we shut down plants, we move to China, corporations there pay workers 20, 30 cents an hour, and we bring the product back into this country.
It's also proper for advanced economies like the United States to insist on reciprocity from nations like China that are no longer solely poor countries, to make sure that they're providing access to their markets and that they stop taking intellectual property and hacking our servers.
Yeah, well, there you go. Nancy Pelosi, pointing to a chart that I agree with. I've never thought I'd say that. But, Bo, you kind of saw Nancy Pelosi, saw Bernie Sanders and Barack Obama defending the ideas of tariffs, except for they don't like them now. What are your thoughts on just the overall lib perspective of this is great until President Trump says it's great, then it's awful?
Yeah. So, I mean, my immediate thought is this goes to show how far the left has gone. They used to be moderate, and that sounds crazy to even think about. But, I mean, take a look back at Barack Obama, who wasn't bad on immigration. He actually had quite a few deportations, if you look back in the day. And then now, fast forward to Joe Biden last term, he allowed millions upon millions of illegal immigrants. It just goes to show how far left they have gone. And then taking it over to tariffs, like I said with the last story, it's just whatever furthers the leftist narrative. So if tariffs are something that Trump supports, then they are not going to support tariffs. Anything Trump supports, they will not support. It doesn't matter if it's giving money to St. Jude, they're not going to support it.
Bryce, yeah, to your point, Bo, yeah, those are all seems to be accurate the way that I'm looking at things. Bryce, is there a different approach the Trump administration maybe should take? Maybe they should take some stances that Trump doesn't actually think, in order to make the libs think the opposite, which Trump does actually think, and therefore be in support of things that conservatives / the Republican Party would be in favor of. I know that was kind of like a twisty gymnastics thing, but is there a different approach that should be taken?
That would be like 6D chess or something like that. Maybe that's what we should start doing. But the truth is here, what you're witnessing, and I have a little bit different take than you guys maybe, but what you're witnessing is these folks just want to accumulate political power. So what you're seeing is there's no principles here. They have zero principles. They are going to say whatever it takes to accumulate political power. And we're seeing that right now with Gavin Newsom on his tour, where he's all of a sudden running to the middle because he thinks that that's going to bring him political power. So what we're witnessing is really just the naked left. And by the way, you don't actually want to witness the naked left because they accumulate ugliness. I rescued a kid the other day out of a Tesla protest. I walked to the other side and I started chatting with people. And of course, none of them had any real positions that they understood. They couldn't articulate things, but there's this 25-year-old kid who, was a roofer, had some questions about things, was willing to engage in conversation. And I said, hey, listen, man, you pursue truth long enough, you're going to end up on the other side of the street with me. And later on that day, I was able to take him out for a beer, and he came to church the next morning. And
Wow.
but I kept introducing him by saying, "Listen, I told this kid he was too handsome to be on this side of the aisle, because all these people over here are freaks who are paid, most of them, to be there, or at least a good contingent of them. And so all of these protests across the country are really just entirely set up to try to create this energy that everybody in the world's against Trump and everything that he's doing is bad. And we have to just hold the line and keep going in the direction that we know is true."
I'll take that one to the bank. Bryce, Eddy, don't risk blindness by looking at the literal naked left. Good advice. Hey, so when the couple seconds that we've got left, Bryce, you brought up a really good point that a bunch of the protesters seem to be paid. Bo, you were at the DC protest, and you posted a video where you left for a couple minutes to change outfits because you've been identified or whatever it was, and you came back, nobody was there. Can you kind of explain that in the couple of seconds we got left?
Yes, yeah, it was insane. So I left for the hotel room for about 30 minutes. Our camera was tampered with, broken by a protester, but that's something else we can talk about at another time. And so we come back, and the protest, when I tell you it is absolutely empty, I mean, you saw the video, not a single soul there. In a matter of give or take 30 minutes. It just shocks me. Like, how can 30,000 plus people all leave in a 30-minute time span? But I guess when you're getting paid, when your time is done, it's time to clock out. And I guess they knew that
That's
their
it.
time,
The
their
the
time
work
was
bell
like
rang.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah, well, the only other theory would be like, we are fighting fascism until noon, and then I got stuff to do.